What's up, Rodas? You know who it is. You know what time it is. Your boy Savage, aka Sev Cisneros. You know the logo. Broncos Country, BCFFL, Bronco Maniacs. My high salute to the real ones. Hey, check it out though. You see this jacket right here? Meant so much to me. Super Bowl 32, Super Bowl 33. We almost went undefeated in this season. 32, we backed ourselves in the wild card and went on the road to go be Super Bowl champions, John Elway, and that beautiful roster, man. John Elway's the GOAT. Terrell Davis's and Howard Griffiths, Shannon Sharps, Ross Smiths, Evan McCaffrey's, and on the defense side of the ball, Neil Smith, Alfred Williams, John Mobley's, Ray Crockett, Steve Atwater's. The list goes on, man. And I remember, man, getting over that pinnacle as a young fan. But before that, in the 96 season, I remember Mark Brunell coming in to Denver, and we were the number one seed, and somehow he surprises us with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they get the upset against almighty Broncos country. I remember being a young fan and being so depressed, and the city of Denver was so depressed. But I remember because I was actually there in the physical form of Denver, and I remember experienced this as a young fan. And I remember in '89, when the Broncos played the San Francisco 49ers and lose, how it affected my family, how my family was crying, the females in my family was crying, and the males were so emotional because they really wanted it after John Elway loses so many Super Bowls before that. And I remember how the fans of Broncos country, the real fans, came together and still said, we're behind you regardless, the thick through thin, the losses, the good times, and met the Broncos team at the airport and said, we still support you. The love of Broncos country. And then I remember down the road, Broncos country goes on to win the back-to-back series. And after that, the era goes up and down with a roller coaster of emotions because you got Bubby Bristers and Brian Griese's coming in. And there was good glimpses of aspect after, the Super Bowl run, but them quarterbacks just didn't have that edge to take us to another championship. And I remember Terrell Davis getting hurt, man. The legendary Terrell Davis, and, it was off an interception. He's making a tackle. I remember all this because I was there as a fan. And then I remember starting to rebuild a solid foundation, and Peyton Manning just was like, I'm taking it all from you. When he played with the Colts, multiple playoff runs, he slaps us up. Takes it from us. I was there. I experienced all of it, man. And then I remember Jake Plummer coming in as the Broncos quarterback, Jake the Snake, and he does this thing, man. And he gets us to the AFC Championship against the Steelers. And I was like, man, I think it's our year. We could do this. The city of Denver was lit up. It was live. I was there through all of it as a fan. And then after that, I remember Jake Plummer, AFC Championship, he loses to the Steelers, and they rearrange the whole roster because they rebuild and revamp, and they bring in Jay Cutler, and Mike Shanahan brings in Jay Cutler, and, you had that roster with Brandon Marshall, the wide receiver, and all that aspect, Eddie Royal, And Jay Cutler, you think that he might be able to take you to the promised land because there was a lot of good things coming out on his name. But Jake Cutler had diabetic problems, and he had diabetes, and he wouldn't take his insulin. You could tell it was affecting him. And I remember the aspect of Darrell Williams, all that time frame, man. He passes away, and it's a sad aspect. And that whole roster gets gutted because Josh McDaniels, and that was a terrible time. So now we are left with Kyle Orton, and Kyle Orton, you never actually thought you could win games with Kyle Orton because Kyle Orton he was a chump. That fool didn't have the heart of any warrior, and he was soft. But I was there, and I can remember it like it was detailed. You know what I'm saying? And I remember Tim Tebow comes in, right? Tebow Mania. And I was like, who's this guy? And everybody's talking about him, man. And Tebow, he'll deliver a bad game, but in the last 2 minutes, he'll somehow win the game. And I was on the Tebow Mania, bro. I was on that train because the city of Denver was live. And you know why I say the city of Denver was live? Because I was in the city of Denver because I'm a Denver baby. I was there in the physical form, experienced this, soaking it all in. And then in the playoff, we're not even supposed to win a game against the Steelers, and somehow Tebow throws it to Demaryius Thomas for the win. I was there in the city of Denver, And then all of a sudden, the Peyton Manning sweepstakes comes around. And I didn't want Peyton Manning because I hated Peyton Manning from them previous years in the playoff runs, but we get him, and I told the homie, I don't want Peyton Manning. But Peyton Manning goes on, and he starts earning my respect. Never considered him a Denver Bronco, though, because he was more of a Colt than anything, and to this day, I'll say that. But I remember them historical rosters when Peyton Manning goes with the offense, and it's a historical offense of that year, and they put up 55 touchdowns, over 5,000 yards, run the division, and then Peyton Manning gets slapped up against the Seattle Seahawks. I remember it all because I was there. But during that time frame, I remember going to training camps in the physical form, scrimmages in the physical form, prep rallies in the physical form. I mean, if I say physical form, that means I was there in the Mecca of Broncos country. Now, see, the difference is outsiders. And there's no wrong aspect to being an outsider. But I was there in the physical form. And then I remember that last couple season, Joe Flacco wins us. Luck wins us. And then we were like, can Peyton Manning even get a ring? The next year he comes, man, and that historical defense, the foundation was there. They were teeing off on everybody. They carry off Peyton Manning to the promised land to be 2 Super Bowl rings, a quarterback with 2 different teams, and the Broncos go on to be in 3-time Super Bowl champions. I was there through it all, man, in the physical form, and I remember the city of Denver was so live after the Super Bowl. I didn't go home till 4:30 in the morning, 5, high-fiving different people, Broncos, loving it, man, that energy. But I was there in the physical form. Going to the Million Man March, the Super Bowl parade in the physical form. First people there in the front row with a million Bronco fans. The orange wave, a beautiful feeling. Was you there? Were you in the Broncos community at that time? Now, I heard something on a video, and it was trying to compare fan status. And I don't ever like to compare fan status because if you're a Bronco fan, you're a Bronco fan, and you really love this team, you love this team. But when it comes to different breeds, there's not too many people that is the breed of the Cisneros family. Cody, you try to compare your level to my level, homie. First and foremost, bruh, you'll never, ever be on a surface with the Cisneros family, Savage Sev. One reason being, bro, I was born into the Broncos community. My family are generational Bronco fans that were a part of keeping the Broncos in Denver. You're an outsider, homie. You're a person that chose the Broncos for whatever reason you did. You chose. When I was born, we didn't have a choice. It was Broncos country or nothing. It was in our blood, bruh. So you'll never, ever, ever, ever be on the level of Savage. You are under me. You do this scouting thing, and you're very smart. I'll give you that. But I could care less, bro. I'm not trying to be paid by the Broncos. I don't care about having a job with the Broncos. You cried about you don't want to work for the Broncos because they overlook your work or something, homie. I don't care. I'm not trying to make money being a worker for the Broncos, homie. It's Broncos country, Phantom style, and you'll never be the breed of Savage. And the old school dude, I don't even know your name, bro. That's crazy. I know Cody's name, but I don't know your name. You, if you're telling the truth and you were from the old era Broncos fans, you have the caliber of Floyd Little. You have no reason to cry at all because you also have experienced multiple years of success, and you've been a part of historical runs, back-to-back series, bro, back-to-back Super Bowl champions. There's only a handful of teams that ever done that. Reaching the Super Bowl's hard. Winning a Super Bowl's hard, and then winning a back-to-back series is like impossible. And you've been a part of all that, bro, so you have no reason to cry about anything. Cody, I don't know if you came around the new era, and I can tell you're fiending to be successful again, bro. But that's what I think that's all about, bro. You know what time it is, your boy Savage. Mile high salute to the real ones. You know what it is. Let's go.